Hi everybody, this is the Baseball Fight, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion. Host the welcome back to the Baseball Hut 2, and hopefully you like this video and hit that subscribe button. As you know, one of the big problems in Major League Baseball is pitchers getting injured all the time. And it's an epidemic. A part of it is the players throw very hard. The team's going to maximize the mileage out of the arms. Also, there is a side note that the teams don't care if you have to go under the knife, and in fact, it is encouraged by the medical industry that you get surgery. It doesn't seem like the medical industry wants to prevent all these injuries that pitchers get, and it tells you also how difficult it is to throw a ball very hard when you see pitchers get blood clots in their shoulders. We saw that with Zach Wheeler just recently. Unfortunately, we saw that Matt Harvey in the past and a few other players of note have had that issue. But Curt Schilling, great Major League pitcher, pitched for the Orioles, the Diamondbacks, the Orioles, the Red Sox. He's put out some advice for pitchers. Now, in my opinion, he's a Hall of Famer. It's not about politics, it's about what the player did on the field. He was one of the great postseason performers. Of course, he pitched great for the Phillies for a long time. I had a front row seat to watch him pitch against the Mets. This guy was a real horse, and this is a guy that, quite frankly, based on his time as a everyday regular pitcher in the regular season and his postseason, those things add up to a Hall of Fame career. And but he has some advice. This is a guy who pitched a long time. He pitched a very long time. I don't believe he had too many injuries to his arm. So this is a guy that knows how to pitch. Believe it or not, he's a guy that stayed healthy in his career. This is from Outkick. Curt Schilling tells pitchers how they can create deception and keep their arms healthier. Former Red Sox great argues a simpler windup and delayed effort until the throw can deliver deception. That's true. Watch the guys that pitched a long time and didn't have any injuries. We got another guy is Greg Maddux. Another guy, John Smoltz. He had some injuries here and there. And of course, Tom Glavine. Those guys, Tom Glavine, John Smoltz, Curt Schilling, Randy Johnson. Find out what made them so great that they were able to stay healthy. And that's an era before this one. But that needs to be looked at. It's not too long ago. It's a hotly debated topic around baseball. At a youth and professional level, what's the explanation for the concerning rise in injuries among pitchers? There are several competing viewpoints, but most coalesce around one central idea. Though harder with more effort over a longer period of time has created an epidemic of arm injuries. This isn't just an issue in Major League Baseball, though, of course. It's most visible at that level. It's becoming more and more common in youth baseball as well, as a new story in the New York Times points out. In an effort to impress coaches, other players, and potential scouts, kids are throwing harder and harder at younger ages. I think I saw some kid throwing 95 miles an hour, 13 years old in the Little League World Series. Just crazy. And it's created the potential for injury, and immediately or down the road as innings pile up. Quote, "We're still trying to figure it out here at the big league level, how to keep guys healthy," Jeremy Hefton, the pitching coach for the New York Mets, told the Times. And increasingly, those concerns are making their way down to youth baseball. As the Times story explains, there's been a dramatic rise in pitchers throwing harder and harder, thanks in part to organizations like Perfect Game that track velocity rankings. And legendary former pitcher Curt Schilling has some thoughts on what's exacerbating the epidemic of injuries. Responding to a comment on X, Schilling this week explained how the windup can both create beneficial deception for pitchers and reduce unnecessary stress on the arm. Quote, "Your windup is part of your arsenal," Schilling posted. Quote, "My windup was done at 85 miles per hour, slow, easy, and then the ball comes out at 95. It's part of the art and part of your arsenal. Always want a simpler windup, simple math, right? Less moving parts means less chance for error and mistakes. The other main problem, effort should not begin until you start the throw. Sounds like common sense advice, right? The more movement, the greater the probability for unnecessary movement that adds stress or reducing efficiency. Maybe that's part of the injury problem. In the endless chase for more velocity, kids and even adults are adding more motion to their windups, even before their arm starts moving, hoping to generate more force. It's probably effective too. At least they throw with more effort and increasing harder throws. But it's also potentially putting more stress on arms and when it's not necessary. Schilling's right, the windup is part of a pitcher's arsenal. Deception and unexpected velocity can be extremely effective tools. Don't offer hitters timing with a slow windup and exploit them with high velocity. As he describes, might be one of the best ways to take the opposition out of their game. Simple math might also be the answer to keeping pitchers healthier too. I wouldn't mention this pitcher. Just came to mind. Former, the long Met great, Sid Fernandez. This is a guy that he didn't have this fast pitching motion, but he pitched for quite a few years. He never had injuries to his arms. He usually had injuries to his legs. But that's a guy that, he would throw and the ball would just jump on a hitter. He had one of the easiest going motions, but that ball would jump. That's a good example of using your windup as part of your motion, part of your arsenal, part of the way you pitch. And a lot of times with these pitchers, they don't use their legs a lot. Noah Syndergaard is also a guy that didn't use much of his legs. And obviously he hurt his arm and had all kinds of arm injuries. Now Jacob deGrom, has a pretty good windup. It's a long windup. But it's not a lot of I don't know if he understands that it's part of his, I'm sure he does. But that's another example of a different kind of motion. But he's always had to deal with so many injuries in his career with his arm. But you let me know what you think about this. And of course, please subscribe to Baseball Head 2, and I'll see you later.